What is up, everyone? All right, today, very fun, very exciting. I'm going to be putting all the fantasy books that I've read since I've been on BookTube onto a tier list. So, this is basically like a year's worth of books. I know my first videos came out in 2019, but I had like a kind of slump at the start of 2020. So, I didn't read for like 2 or 3 months. So, like the last 2 or 3 months of 2019, those books that I read will be in 2020's section. And also, this is only like sci-fi and fantasy books. All the nonfiction books I've read have been good. So if you see any review of like The New Jim Crow or Malcolm X's autobiography or No Logo or Manufacturing Consent, if you've seen those and those sound interesting to you, definitely pick them up, but they just won't be in this tier list. Just know that they're very good, and I recommend all of them. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the tier list. All right, what is... Oh my gosh. I've got the meme from all my tier list videos. Okay. Forgetting to make my face big is the first meme. The second meme is drinking pink wine. The third meme is very obscure New York Times writers as the name of some of my tiers. And I think that's all the memes, but we've hit them all already. So, all right. Hopefully everyone's ready for this. As you can tell, this kind of grading curve here is kind. I've got all-time favorites, amazing, great, and good. So that's a little weird, but I feel like I've liked so many of my reads that I need these kind of distinctions. And then we've got average, so and then David Brooks, who's like really like no one wants to read David Brooks unless you're like over the age of 58. So no David Brooks articles. Or at least that's that's my opinion at least. But anyway, let's stop talking about New York Times op-ed writers and get into the tier list. All right, so enough talking about New York Times tier list writers. We will start at the beginning. The first review I did was for this one. Yeah, so these three books, Lightbringers 1, 2, and 3. So for me, the third one was amazing. I loved it. The second one was great. I liked it a lot. And then the first and second one were great. The first one was definitely better than the second one. The series has a great magic system. The characters are not amazing. I kind of like some of them, but a lot of them are annoying. But the more they get fleshed out, the more I like them, and the less annoying they get as they kind of grow older and grow out of like their annoying teenager phase. So yeah, I think that's why I like the third one the most. And the second one, I don't like as much as the first one because it's definitely a bit slower, especially at the beginning. And I mean, there's some good things about the second one. The best part about Brent Weeks and the Lightbringer series is the plot twist, though. And the second one and that book's plot twists were just so like I saw them coming. I saw them coming from a mile away, or at least some of them. Whereas in the first one, I my jaw hit the floor halfway through the first book. I was like, "What? You can't do that in a fantasy series." And that plot twist is part of why I started making this YouTube channel. So there's that. Now, the Hunger Games books, which I did not review on my YouTube channel. The first one I thought was amazing, and I had never read these when I was younger, but it was so clean. I just respect like how Suzanne Collins made every word matter and like very influential. There was like no wasted paragraphs, let alone wasted chapters. And even though I had seen the movie, I like knew what was going to happen. It was still like so well written. I loved it. And I can't believe it took me that long to read it. Catching Fire, also amazing. Less amazing though. We'll put it in low amazing. And then you know what? Mockingjay, not a fan at all. The first person really started to catch up with me in the Mockingjay because Katniss didn't want anything to do with anything. And I feel for her on like a human level, and she had like a lot of traumas and stuff, but it just made it not interesting. It's like, oh wow, it would be cool if we were involved in these extremely important planning meetings. Oh, but Katniss is like in a closet or something. So we just miss everything. And it's like, all right, well, and that was one of my issues. That I could do a rant review on this, but I don't want this video to get like 30 dislikes. So we're just going to leave it at that and move on. Also, this is what the pink wine is for, so I don't get too long-winded on anything. All right, next we've got The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. This actually might be more controversial than The Mockingjay, but I'm just going to say this was average. I was not impressed. The characters I liked a lot, but the plot was so flat for me. Like nothing happened. And I say this is like a Sanderson fan, right? Like, how is it crazy that I'm saying nothing happened? And there's the show that, the characters in How I Met Your Mother watch about like British elite people.
Woodworthy Manor was a show about an upper-class English estate at the beginning of the 20th century.
My word, you can't possibly mean.
But I do. With the succession of Lady Eastbrook to Viscountess of Maryland-Mead, our cousin Baldric becomes the Earl of
Witherstead. I only posted that prediction 15 times on the forums.
When I think back about things that happened in The Blade Itself, it was things equal to that in terms of how consequential I felt that they were. Oh my God, this is going to get so many dislikes. But don't fret, you Joe Abercrombie fans. I really liked Before They Are Hanged. The characters I liked in the first book, but I like them more here. And then the plot. Like, there was a plot. You just have good characters, and then you add a plot too. Boom, it's amazing. That's all it takes. And then the last Argument of Kings was also good. Not as good as Before It Was Hanged. We'll put it in great. We'll put it right there. Now, Prince of Thorns. This was also one of the first series I read. Let's just put these here for now. Wait, where's King of Thorns? There you are. All right, now these three, I'm not going to put them all in good. I will put Prince of Thorns in good. King of Thorns, I thought was amazing. And Emperor of Thorns was just great, I would say. Like high great. We'll put it there. That's fine. So this is by far the most grimdark series on this tier list. Jorg is often compared to Joffrey. And Jorg, I don't think it's a fair comparison because Joffrey is like very uninteresting and has the brain of like an incest bred person. But Jorg, I mean, like he actually has a brain. But in the first book, he has less of that sort of strategic evil. He's just kind of like evil and sadistic, like Joffrey, a little bit. He's less stupid, but he's still like not playing three-dimensional chess. In these books, the second and third, he's a lot more interesting because of how many steps ahead of he is of everyone else. Also, I think this was Mark Lawrence's first book. I don't think it was as good, but I respect what he did with the character Jorg and how evil he is. And, the Road brothers are cool and stuff. So, yeah, much respect. All right, what should I talk about next? Star Wars Thrawn? Sure, we'll talk about Star Wars Thrawn. Star Wars Heir to the Empire, the book that started the Star Wars expanded universe. This was a reread for me, and I liked it a lot. I remember liking it so much on my first read in 2013. This time, I don't know. It's just good. I'd recommend it to anyone who's a Star Wars fan because there's so many good things I have to say about it, but it definitely doesn't hold up as much on rereads. And this is the only series I've reread on this list, so maybe that's, negatively affecting my opinion. And when I first read it in like 2013 or whatever, I was definitely not really a huge reader. That was like in the middle of my college years. So, anything that was not a like psychology textbook or anything about economics or anything, anything that was like fantasy, automatic all-time favorites. So yeah, that good. This one, just average, nothing special in book 2. A lot of boring downtime. And the climax here was cool. In book 1 of Thrawn, I don't know, like the climax fell a little bit more flat, but in book 2, I liked it a lot more. Thrawn is a great villain, by the way. Thrawn carries this book where some of like the light side stuff is a lot less interesting. And I remember in Bane, this kind of happens where some of the plots are like, oh, oh my God, this is amazing. I love this. And then, like, I think it's in the second book of the Bane trilogy too, where there's one plot. It's just like, come on, man. We don't want to hear about this like random Jedi doing boring things. Like, come on. Get us back to those villains. That's what we're here for. Now, the last command, it really does hold up on reread. I think it's like low grade. You know what? We'll move it ahead of Blinding Knife. The climax here was just phenomenal. It really felt like there was a plan for the whole trilogy with this climax, and that alone makes me just so satisfied with the last command. All right, guys. So we're going to get into the Sanderson now. Believe it or not, I had not read Sanderson before 2020, and the first Sanderson I read was Elantris, and oh man, instant favorite. And I don't know if this is because it was my first Sanderson that I think it's like better than a lot of other Sanderson. Oh man, there's so many great things I can say about Elantris. I just loved it so much. Serene is my favorite Sanderson character. Bam, pink wine takes for you right there. How many other people are going to say Serene is their favorite Sanderson character? Man, I'm going to need more pink wine after that. This is just ice water right now. All right, I have more wine. Where was I? Oh, yes, Elantris. Amazing. This was a hefty glass of wine I poured. All right, are we just going to rip through all the Sanderson? I think that's what we're going to do. All right, Mistborn, the Final Empire. I actually liked this more than Elantris when I first read it. Yeah, so it's got to be above Elantris. I don't know if this will stay the same on rereads or if I will change my opinion. But Vin in the first book, I was like, man, do I like Vin more than Serene? And Kelsier's so cool. I feel like everything came together here. Oh, and the magic in Elantris, I like a ton. But in Mistborn, it was more front and center and it just dominated the book in a way that I loved. I remember in my Mistborn review not knowing if I liked Mistborn more than Elantris, and you know what? I still don't, but I decided that Mistborn was better. But they're like tied. It's tied with Elantris. Well of Ascension, I will put right there. It was amazing. The start of Well of Ascension was a lot slower than the Final Empire. It took me like 2 parts to really get into this one. But as much as I loved the finale in the Final Empire, Well of Ascension's finale was even better. And I was like, how is this possible? But again, it's kind of like the start that I didn't like as much in this book. And, you know, this is Vin on the cover here, of course. And I did not like Vin as much in this book as I did in the first book. So, yeah, that's why Well of Ascension did not make it an all time faves. But speaking of all time faves, Mistborn Era 1 ended so well. Boom, Hero of Ages we're putting here. I loved it so much. One of the characters who I loved a ton in Well of Ascension, I did not like as much here, but Hero of Ages added a new character who I loved. So yeah, the characters very good here, but the plot and the conclusion is what makes it the best, I think. I remember just being like, what is happening? This is so amazing. Like Sanderson one-upped himself. Remember when I'm like, I can't believe the Well of Ascension finale here is better than the Mistborn finale. But then this one ups this one. And it's just like, I couldn't believe it. Hero of Ages right now for me is the best ending to any book ever. Full stop. Don't at me. Best book ending ever. And it started less slow than Well of Ascension, so that's amazing as well. All right, we'll do Warbreaker real quick. Warbreaker, I liked, I didn't love. We'll put, I feel like I can't put it any higher than the Black Prism. Warbreaker right there. Again, Sanderson has a very good ending. He sticks the landing here. One of the more main characters in Warbreaker, I was not a fan of. It was one of my least favorite main characters in a Sanderson book, if not just straight up my least favorite. But then, oh man, Light Song. Light Song is so funny. I love Light Song. And I was doing the tag video with Joanna and Abby and, you know, Kate and Pete and geez, I can't remember. so with so many people. And I was like, oh man, I just want to have a drink with Lightsong, which, fits right now because I'm having pink wine. If Lightsong were drinking with me, you know what he would say? I'm not drunk enough for this. And you know what Larimar would say? You can't get drunk, Lightsong. So we're going to start talking about Stormlight Archive, Way of Kings. Man, this was a long book. I loved it. I loved it, loved it, loved it. Top of amazing. There were so many good things here. My goodness. Looking back, though, it doesn't break into all-time favorites. And I don't know why. I liked Shallan, I liked Kaladin, and I liked Dalinar. And this one might even go higher on reread. Like, I'm concerned Elantris might fall a little flat on reread, but I might still love Elantris. But I know Way of Kings. I'm gonna like pick up so many like little nuggets and Easter eggs in Way of Kings on reread. Oh, it's gonna be so good. And I feel like this won't drop from top of amazing no matter what. Also in this book, I feel like I predicted the like very weird predictions that no one predicts, but I didn't predict like the very normal plot twist that Sanderson leads you to with thousands and thousands of breadcrumbs. I didn't see those, but I saw like the very weird ones. Sanderson, like Brent Weeks, is the master of the plot twist. I feel like Brent Weeks is a little bit better because he won't like tease you with the plot twist as much, but he'll still like dangle things in front of your face. If we're doing analogies, Brent Weeks is like being on a bucking bronco in terms of just crazy plot twist. You don't really know where it's going. And Sanderson plot twists are like a roller coaster where it's very calculated and like everything is planned out and you can figure everything out, or at least so many things out because of how much like very stealthy, tiny little breadcrumbs and foreshadowing you get. And yeah, that's my analogy. Those are the two best plot twist authors that I've encountered so far. Now, Words of Radiance. Oh boy, where do I put this? I think I'll put it right there. Oh man, so many good things I can say. First of all, Team Shallan. I love Shallan right away. I was a bigger fan of Shallan than I was of Kaladin and Dalinar. I like Kaladin and Dalinar, but Shallan number one. And then this is like the Shallan book. We got Shallan flashbacks, and I don't know. I felt for Shallan in book one, and I feel like I could pick up the context clues of the things she said in book one to give me a lot of insight into her past. And then when we learn about her past, I feel like I picked up all of the context clues that she was putting down in the things she said from like every possible minor encounter throughout book one and like early book two. And yeah, she really shines here. Like everything in this book is like so good. Like all of the memes. You've got like Boots memes and like blank is dead, but I'll see what I can do. The part 3 climax. Oh my god, it was so good, so good, so good. All right. Words of Radiance right here. Like the part 3 climax was better than like the actual climax. Oh man, I feel like I'm incoherent about like anything in my all-time favorites tier list. I'm just like, it's good, it's good. But yeah, time for a sad, sad moment. Oathbringer, we'll put it right here. Oh my god. You know what? I'm gonna even like put it in good. Like that's how frustrated I was while reading Oathbringer. It was just so slow. Like things did not happen. And I talk about part 3 climaxes in Words of Radiance and also in Way of Kings there was a good part 3 climax as well. In Oathbringer? No, sir. I mean, there was a part 3 climax. It was just so like the lead up to it was so boring and dull. And you know what? The end of this book, amazing. So good. So good. I loved it. And like the mental health representation, very good. And like, how it's portrayed, I liked overall a lot. But oh my God, it was so frustrating. So many things I want to say that frustrated me that are spoilers. All right, so there was a certain character I felt like we should follow a lot, and we followed them zero. None. I have no idea what this character was doing this entire book, and I wanted to know what this character was doing. And the book was so long and followed literally every other possible character. And it's like, oh, this person Kaladin was like friends with like a book and a half ago? They're gonna get a part right now. But like this character that you actually care about, no part for them. Oh my God. Jesus. No Oathbringer. Pink wine takes. Can we just like skip Oathbringer completely? Also, oh my gosh. Okay, so the flashbacks were amazing, but the character whose flashbacks you were focusing on, that character's like actual real-time story, like nothing happened. Nothing happened. It was like the blade itself. Oh my God. Why? Why? It was like someone who wants political intrigue, but only the most boring possible parts of political intrigue. Oh my God, so many mixed feelings here. Like the good parts of Oathbringer are like up here, and the bad parts are like David Brooks tier. I know I said previously that pink wine would make my takes fast, but geez, that was not fast at all. All right, this is the last Sanderson one. Ah, man, I did a long review for Rhythm of War. If you guys liked Rhythm of War, great. We're gonna put it like slightly below Way of Kings. You know what? We're gonna put it under Hunger Games as well because Hunger Games was so clean in terms of every word and every paragraph being super important. Rhythm of War, no, sir. There was some nonsense in here. Why did we even have flashbacks in this book? No one knows. There could have been flashbacks with literally any other character, and it might have been more interesting than the flashbacks we actually got. And I know, like, guys, yeah, I know the flashbacks didn't take up too much time. There were some parts I really like in here, and parts I did not like as much. But unlike Oathbringer, no part of this at any point was in David Brooks tier. So we're just gonna put it right there. That's fine. I like how it started off faster though. That saved it a lot compared to Oathbringer as well. All right, book 1 of Dresden. It was good. We'll put it right there. Not too much to say. There was like a mystery and something happened, and I'll read more books in this series at some point, but it just wasn't like amazing or anything. People say the series gets better though, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. Looking forward to more Jim Butcher. I just haven't been able to motivate myself to read more. I just get distracted by other books. So this is the only Dresden Files I've read. But it's good. I'd encourage anyone to check it out because it's, a fun short first book. All right, The Girl and the Stars. Also, the thumbnail from this review is what I took my profile picture with. And if I'm talking about the profile picture of my YouTube page, that is kind of indicative to what I thought of this book. A lot of good stuff. Nothing great, nothing horrible. Definitely less good than Dresden, though. When I was reviewing this book, I was too positive about the book. I don't know. I feel like the book hasn't held up well in my head. Like the characters weren't interesting, the world kind of interesting. I learned more about the world after reading Red Sister, but still not very interesting. The next book, I don't know if I'll read, but I have decently high hopes for it. But yeah, I don't know. Girl in the Stars. Was this even better than Prince of Thorns? Oh man, I don't know. No, it was good. It was low good. That's fine. There were some good things here. The plot was fast. We'll move on. Red Queen by fellow East Longmeadow friend, not friend really, but I know her brother, Victoria Aveyard, and her debut Red Queen book. I liked this a lot. It was a bunch of fun. Every page had me hooked. It wasn't amazing or anything. The magic system wasn't stellar. I don't know how to describe it. It was kind of like fantasy X-Men. It had a little bit of this type of magic, a little bit of that type of magic, and it just threw it all together. And the world was cool. The story was cool. I feel like Victoria tried to make, instead of a love triangle, it was like a love like octagon or something. She went for like the most complex polygon that anyone has ever gone for in a book that is under 400 pages. And, it was kind of interesting to see that. I was like, oh, I feel like the main character should get a cup of coffee with like 35 men. And I don't know. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just being like hyperbolic. I know I'm being a little hyperbolic, but like I feel like she had like decent chemistry with a lot of people. So we're just going to put it in the middle of great. There were many things I liked. All right, Glass Sword. Um, Looking back, my review for this book was so unenthusiastic. I just didn't know how to be like negative about a book, maybe. And like, I didn't like hate this. It was just average. We'll put it right there. I just wasn't excited about this at all. What do I talk about next? Oh my gosh, I don't even know what to talk about next. This one, I don't know what it is about Mark Lawrence books, but when I review them, I'm, like, super hype about them, and then, like, a week after reading them and, like, letting the book sit in my head, I'm like, "Huh? What happened? Nothing interesting happened." And again, similar to The Girl and the Stars, like, I don't care about these characters too much. The plot, it was kinda cool. I don't know. I feel like Mark Lawrence caught lightning in a bottle with the Broken Empire trilogy. And then, Red Sister, we'll put it, like, here. I can't justify putting it any higher. Ninja nuns, super cool. And there were some super cool ninja nun parts, but there was so much downtime in this book. It's just not good school setting stuff was in this book. And oh yeah, I remember all the teachers in this book. It's like a school of nuns. And every nun, all the sisters, same personality almost. I know there's like little minute differences between all of the teachers, and all the sisters were different, and all the students were different. And they were, but they all felt very similar while going through the book for most of the book. And all the characters just kind of like blended together for me. All the students blended in with the other students, and all the teachers blended in with the other teachers. And the plot was kind of cool. It had some good points. It had some like even great points. A lot of the battles were great and fun and interesting, and the duels and stuff. But like there was a lot of like dull points. And anyway, we're putting it right here. Sword of Kaigen. I love this book. And this, when I talk about the Red Sister and, the girl and the stars and downgrading my opinions of them a week or 2 weeks or a month after reading them, Sword of Kaigen's the exact opposite. The more I think about this book, the more I love it. And the characters were so interesting to me. Oh my gosh, I just love the characters. The plot, amazing. Every, People who are like, I haven't cried since my great grandfather died when I was 7 are like, I was bawling during this book. There were so many things in this book that like were so emotional. A lot of times when characters suck, they're like just not good people. It's like, why is this character not being a good person? But in this book, I vibed with the characters that were not good people. And I'm like, I understand why you're not a good person. And the more I think about the characters that are like, not actively antagonists, but also annoying and not good people, the more I thought about those characters, the more I like this book, because the more I understood them and the more I understood the world around them and the culture and all of that. The biggest critique of this book is people complain about the last chapter being super long and super boring. You know what? It wasn't a great chapter. There was a lot there. I thought it was fine. It wasn't too bad. I just like the book. Read the last chapter. Don't read the last chapter. I don't care. Also, the flashbacks, a little bit weird, but I just love the book so much. I love all the other parts so much that I've got to put it up here. It was just amazing. I feel like I like this book more than literally Anyone else? Question mark. I feel like a lot of people loved this book but didn't like all-time favorite this book. You know what I'm saying? Lyra Bat. I know Lyra Bat gets me. She like almost like close to all-time favorited this, I think. So Lyra Bat and I, we are on the same page. Everyone subscribe to Lyra. Anyone else's opinion is just totally irrelevant. Anyway, pink wine takes with Greg. All right. All right. Poppy War. So if you look at my comment section from anywhere between mid-November to mid-December, there's a comment from Joanna telling me to read Poppy War. And, you know, there's so many things I vibe with in the Poppy War that I understand why she was like, you have to read it. And like the world in this, I love. And, you know, I totally respect RF Kuang. And just for the world, I almost want to put it in amazing. Even though the magic system, you know, it was good. I like it a lot. It was great even, but it wasn't like all-time fave. But, you know, the world and the history, all-time fave. The characters kind of fell short for me. I've been procrastinating on reading the Dragon Republic, but I really do want to read it because of like the world laid out here in the Poppy War. And you know, I just respect the world so much. And the plot very good as well, very based on history, which is very cool. I love history. This is like a weird one. I don't know exactly where to put it. We'll just put it here. Pink wine takes. Don't think about it too much. All right. Promise of Blood. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. We're going to need more wine to talk about this one. Let's talk about the amazing from this book first. So, the magic system here, I love. The powder mages, amazing. Now, everything else, David Brooks. David Brooks, everything else. Let's go through it a little bit. The characters, not good. Taniel, boo. No Taniel. And the other two were like average. And then the other parts of the magic system, like the Nact, they had like the least interesting magical powers I've ever heard of in my entire life. It would be like, yo, like you can stay awake a little bit longer. It's like, yo, just drink coffee, man. Like, can I be a Nact if I just like have a Monster Energy drink with my large coffee? Like, I don't even know. Oh my god. It's like the Nact are like the X-Men, just not cool at all with like lame powers. It would be like if Wolverine gets like cuts and heals from them slightly quicker. Like that's what the Nact are. Is this the first book I'm talking about while having 2 sips of wine while talking about the book? Look, I will say the live show for the Shelf Space Discord was so fun for Promise of Blood. Alan just went in, and I feel like Alan even liked this book more than I did, but he just went in on this book and just articulated all my problems with Promise of Blood so well. You know what? I feel like here at the bottom of average is a great spot for Promise of Blood. I won't subject it to David Brooks here because, you know, at the end of the day, would I rather read a 500-word David Brooks article or would I rather read Promise of Blood? And the answer is Promise of Blood. So so it goes at the bottom of average. And that is everything. Oh man. Yo, imagine David Brooks is on BookTube or just like watches BookTube videos recreationally and he's just getting dunked on relentlessly. I'm just complaining about like the Dark Forest Rising, and I'm like, yeah, it's better than David Brooks articles, though. All right. Yeah, that's oh my gosh, that's everything. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. I have no idea how this video will turn out, but it was very fun making. I can't believe I procrastinated on making my 2020 kind of wrap up videos for so long. Why did I procrastinate? This was so fun. I got distracted by literally everything else. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, join my Discord. It is very fun. I am adding Discord roles at 250 subscribers, which I'm very close to, so that'll be fun. I've got a lot of funny things that I've been planning all day for that for my Discord. And yeah, that's everything. We've got to wrap this up. And like, comment, subscribe, and see you guys next time. Peace.